In an audition. I will be performing a Shakespearean rendition of Mystical's club banger, Shake It Fast, the edited version. Hark! All thine players and pimps right here in the place to be. I thought I told you dudes before. You peasants are not formidable to me. And this is not for no small booties, no, sir. That will not be permissible. But if you feel you have the roundest rump, then, mama, come gyrate in a rapid fashion. Scene. Thank you for your consideration.
Greetings and what up, though? It's your boy Jason Jamerson. And welcome to the Jason Jamerson podcast. As always, got my man 100 grand, Kev BJ. What's going on, Kev?
What up, though, cuz? How you doing this week?
I'm fantastic. Hey, man, before we even get started, man, I just want to talk about how amazing that performance, that audition just was, man. I feel like I would have nailed whatever role I'm going to. Who thinks of doing something like that? You know what I'm saying? A Shakespearean rendition of a rap song? It's groundbreaking. It's
Okay.
groundbreaking, I would say. I would say,
let's get feedback from our amazing guest, Arielle Simonee. She'll let you know how you actually did in there and give you some tips and some tricks of how you can improve that for your next audition.
Yeah.
Hey, man, listen.
It was definitely different. It was definitely something out of the box. You know, no one's coming into the room doing that. So you're definitely gonna get those pros or those at least whatnot.
I got their attention.
And Shakespeare is hard. You can't get everyone into it. So that was a nice way to just like either be a very big comedian or, you know, at least have somebody saying your name, at least.
There we go. As a matter of fact, one of our loyal viewers, they said, "You the next Denzel, baby." Hey, I'm sorry. They say, "Excuse me, the next Jason."
Hey.
The next. Hey, listen. You know, it is what it is, man. I got all this talent. I be trying to tell people, but you know, sometimes you gotta show them what you're really made of. Kev, how's your weekend, man?
My weekend was cool, man. I stayed out of the way. Just trying to get some time and space to myself. You know, got a lot of demands with things I'm hustling on, my work and all those type of things. And so being able to take a nap or just kind of roll around and kind of do those things is pretty empowering for me. So I just took the time to do that. How about yourself?
It was great, man. It was great. I had a comedy show in Indiana last night. And it was me and my man Mike Larry and Michael McDaniel. We went down to Indiana. We had a comedy show and we turned right back around and came back. We got back at like 3 a.m. I had to train somebody at 6. So I've gotten very little sleep today. But we're here. I'll be all right. As soon as this broadcast ends, I'm crashing at this desk. That's exactly what's about to happen. Face first.
Yeah. Arielle, how was your weekend? What did you do?
My weekend was okay. I was definitely resting as well. Definitely was taking the time to myself. One of my friends just had a birthday last week, so we did an escape room and we took shots before. So we did the shots. They did their shots before I did my shots. So I did mine like right outside of the door. And then we walked into the place and the lady was like, yeah, if you're drunk, you're probably not going to get through the room. I'm like, okay, well, I was like, that is not a great thing to hear. Though I wasn't drunk, but we made it out with like a couple seconds to spare. We had to get a lot of clues though, because it was not making sense. But it was a very fun experience. Then we went to go get ice cream. Then we just went and watched movies. So it was real fun. It was chill. And then I think the beginning of my weekend, I went to a comedy show. So I'm from Detroit, but I live in LA. So that's the thing, just FYI. So went to a comedy show. My friend's boyfriend was actually performing. He was funny. great. And then at the end, randomly, Kevin Hart came through and did a little set. I guess he's working on like new material or whatnot. So that was kind of cool. It's just like one of those random LA things where it's just like, this is how you know you live in LA. Like, this is a LA night.
That's what's up. How long you been in LA?
I have been out here for 6 years, a little over 6 years, actually. I moved out here in July of 2015, and yeah, we're going into 2022 soon. So I've been out here for a bit.
So from Detroit to LA, like what inspired you to make the move and to jump to LA? I know you're an actor, and so I know there's a groundswell of talent here in Detroit. Not many people make that move or can stay as long as you stay. Can you just talk about that story?
Yeah, so I actually went to Michigan State University. So shout out to the Spartans.
Go Green.
Go White, yes. So I went to Michigan State, and I have a BFA in theater arts. I also have a BA in journalism. So I have been acting literally since I was like a kid. My mom actually just sent me some pictures, and it's like this picture. I was less than 10, but I was in like an acting class or something. It was really funny. But I've been acting my whole life. I've been dramatic my whole life. So I definitely was just like, I want to pursue this. I got really into it in high school. My senior year at Cass, I was a part of what's it called? Reader's Theater. And that was like transforming for me. It was children's theater. We got to do shows for kids, and it was just real fun. So then I ended up making that my major at school, graduated, and I don't like cold weather. So Detroit, cold. Me and cold, we don't get along. So I wanted to move somewhere warm, and I was like, it's no point in moving to New York because they are also cold. So I need to move to the West Coast. And then I moved out here, and it's been a journey. It has been a journey.
That's what's up. Is that what specifically what you moved out? I mean, the weather, of course, but was acting specifically the reason why you moved out there?
Yeah. So I know I want to do acting, and I want to do TV and film, and like LA is just kind of the place to be for it. And even 6 years ago, it still was the place to be. I feel like Atlanta is now like the Black Hollywood, but that wasn't like the hype 6 years ago. Like everyone wanted to go to LA. So I moved out here for acting. I actually didn't start acting though until probably like 2017. Like I was just getting my feet wet, trying to just stabilize in LA. It's just a different world. Rent is ridiculous for no reason. You got to really like meet the right people, be in the right rooms. And so I had to like, get my footing first, but I definitely moved out here for acting, modeling. Like I've done an LA Fashion Week show, modeling and whatnot. I don't really do much of that. I can do print work and some stuff, but I was like, dang, I need to get into some classes. I need to get into some doors. I need to know some people and like get on this acting train. So yeah, that's definitely what I'm here for.
Yeah,
how do you like balance the network? You got to get to know people for you, and then you got to get to know people for business, right? And so like, how do you figure out who's real for like the business sake and who's real to kind of penetrate and kind of be within your real circle as you're going to a place where you might not know many people?
Yeah, so I actually moved out here, and I think I have one cousin out here. So I literally have like no real family out here. So I had to create a family, a network, friends, and all of that stuff out here. One of my biggest things was taking my acting classes. So that's where I found like my acting friends, the people that were going to put me in the rooms that I need to be in, that were going to talk about me, to the people that they know. And it's just one of those things where I feel like you give off what you give. So the vibes that I give, the energy that I give is what I really receive back. People have all said like, oh, I moved to LA and it's like so superficial, or people don't even like you, or they don't even want to know you for you. And that hasn't been my experience at all. Like I will say probably a good 90 to 95% of the people that I know are amazing, genuine people. They're just there. They're good. So it's one of those things where you just got to like figure it out, kind of sort of finesse it. Like Detroit just got that finesse. You can like weed out who the real and the fake is for real quick.
Right.
One thing. And I just think I have a genuine energy. So people genuinely want me to succeed and want me to win. And then, I got that talent. I got talent. We ain't gonna I got talent, y'all. I got talent. But yeah, just getting into those rooms and showing people who you are, just having a personality, it will get you far. I've been on sets with people where they just gravitated to me. We just started talking. They got my info. They sent it to their people, or I was just on set months later. They're like, "Oh, we remember you from the set. You were real cool." I don't remember what set it was. I don't even remember like having this conversation, but they were just like, "Yeah, you were like really cool. And we have this thing that's upcoming and we want you to do." And I was like, all right, cool. Sometimes it's just being genuine and being like a good person, and then just like letting your light shine, and people see that and they want to be around that, especially in this industry of weirdos. Like this is no shot to anybody, but there's a lot of weirdos out here in LA.
Most definitely.
People that don't have that good energy, and a lot of times people don't even need to have talent. They just need to be a good person, and you want to be around them. If I have to be on set for 16 hours, I don't want to be around somebody that's weird, annoying.
Right.
You don't want that. You want to be on set like, okay, well, you cool. I mean, we can work on your acting, or we can work on this, that, and the third, but you're a genuine person I want to be around. So
right, we can fix that in post. Okay,
we're gonna put a little filter on it.
A little razzle dazzle on there, you'll be good.
Okay.
So one of our viewers has a question that is along the lines of the questions that I was going to ask, because you are actually the third actress in a row that we've had on here as a guest, the second one in a row that has been out, who lives out in LA. And it's a question I wanted to get to her, but since you're here, I would like to ask you, how soon did it take you to get signed to an agency after moving to LA?
Good question. So I moved to LA in 2015. And again, I didn't really start acting until 2017. I started taking classes in 2017, and then I started out with doing like music videos. So I've done a ton of music videos with different people. Then I started doing like background work on sets. And I don't think I signed to my agencies until 2019, actually. And I didn't want to. So I feel like when people move out here and they're like, oh, agent, oh, this, oh, that, and people want to move so quick, but it's just like, you need to be able to sustain and like keep your agent, because your agent will drop you if you're not doing what you need to do. So I wanted to make sure I had the classes, make sure I had the background, make sure I had everything set on my side, like my resume. I just wanted everything to be good so nobody could ever drop me. Like if I want to drop you, that's a different story, but you can just say you dropped me. So I did all the things that I needed to do, make sure I had my resume looking good. I made sure that I had the credits that I needed. I made sure I was in the classes that I needed to take. I made sure that, I just had my ducks in a row. And then I started submitting myself. So even to this day, I feel like I'm my biggest advocate for my career, because who else gonna do it? Who else gonna do it? Like your agents and managers, they're there for you, but they also have a ton of other people that they're there for as well. So I feel like I'm my biggest advocate. So I was sending myself out. I was researching, doing what I needed to do, making sure I knew like, hey, this agency does this, or they have a lot of kids, or they have a lot of, African-American women, or, anything. I was just making sure that they were going to be good for me. And then I started sending my stuff out, start getting a few meetings, and then, boom, pow, bam, agent. Woo.
Wait, so is that part of your vetting process? Like for you personally, kind of identifying your brand, hey, they need to have experience working with women of color, specifically Black women, people under a certain age. What else is kind of like on that list for you?
So one of my things is in LA is a big pond of like everyone. So I don't want to be a little fish in a big pond. I want to be a big fish in a little pond, basically. So both of my one of my agents is like a boutique agency. The other one, they're a little bit bigger, not the biggest, but I didn't want to be in that realm. Like until I get there, I wanted to work my way up. So a big thing about it is, the big three, a lot of times like people are like CAA and Daniel Hoff and all these different things. They're the big ones. Like they have the Denzels, the people on their actual roster. So it's kind of like, all right, well, you're kind of secondary, third, I don't want to be that. I want to be first on everybody's list. So for me, I wanted something that was boutique, but also they're getting people jobs. Like they are booking and they're making sure that their talent is, working, making sure their talent is in classes, making sure, they have a good communication. Like that's the biggest thing right now is just communication, especially in the panorama that we're in. It's just like you need to know what's going on, especially last year. Last year was a lot of self-tapes, things you were doing at home. And it's just like, if we're not having a good communication, we're not doing nothing. So that's a big one for me. But also, I have kind of a young face that I think I look like a young or whatever. So just making sure that they can market me the way that I want to be marketed. I'm not quite in. I am a grown up, obviously, but I wouldn't be like a mom per se.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get into those roles. Like I'm getting those, and I'm actually kind of excited because I'm like, you guys don't look at me as a child. But just knowing like, hey, you can market me as what I am. Like I have played high school. I have also played college. I pretty much play like in that age range or whatever. But I just want to make sure that people know what I want and they're putting me up for things I want versus, mother of 3. And it's just like, let's make this realistic. That's not really what I'm going to get or, anything. So.
Man, I think it's cool that you said that, because I know a lot of times people will be like, they get out there and they'll just see the opportunity of like, oh, agent, I want to work with anybody. And they don't really do like a vetting process or anything. They just be like, well, if they're going to give me work, I'm with them. I think that's pretty cool that you did that.
Jason, how similar is Arielle's approach to yours in comedy, or to people in comedies in general?
Man, comedy, they be like, man, we got a chicken bowl and $20. You do an hour. I'm like, you want me to do a Netflix special for $20? No. I do know comedians who have representation. I am not one of them. I represent myself right now. And so with that, I have a very somewhat of a different approach, because my pricing, like, I guess with comedy, it's a little different because I am my product, like 100%. Like, I have nobody marked, so it's like I choose my pricing, right? And like right now, like let's say if somebody wants me to do 10 minutes of comedy, that's a little different than somebody saying like, hey, we're gonna have you be in this movie or this TV show for 10 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Because 10 minutes on set or 10 minutes on screen is a lot longer on set than 10 minutes of doing comedy. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's different. I approach it differently. But at the same time, 10 minutes on screen and when you're on set, that's lines that somebody else wrote for you. That's blocking that somebody else has for you. You just got to deliver. So for me, being on stage as a comedian, that's all me. Like I wrote all those jokes. I'm delivering them the way. So you're not just getting 10 minutes of comedy. You're getting all the time I put into working on this 10 minutes also. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's slightly different as far as like I will vet out who I want to do comedy for, though. There's certain shows I will just won't do, certain venues or whatever the case may be. But yeah, I can't vouch for every comedian about that. But me personally, I know what I want out of my career. And some people just want to get on the stage. Some people just want to go, well, I want to be famous. And they'll undercut. They'll do all the backstabbing thing. There's weirdos in comedy just like there's weirdos in acting. So, yeah.
Arielle, I was looking at your page and I noticed you travel a lot. Is that just kind of part of your way to get away from acting and kind of like the hustle and bustle of LA? Or is that kind of wrapped into your, like, who you are and who you show with where you're performing?
Both.
Okay.
I think. So I love traveling. I'm an avid traveler. Like, I'm going to go somewhere regardless of if it's a pandemic or not. Like, I am going to be outside. It's kind of like therapeutic for me, like going somewhere and learning, and it all encompasses like each other. I would say when I travel, I get to use that in my work, like different cultures, different experiences, all of those things like build a character. So if I'm going, work-wise with acting, I can use anything from meeting people to just people watching in another place to how different people with different backgrounds act, live, speak, how they do. But I also just love to travel. I have a passport and I'm gonna use that bad boy. Okay. And I feel like just being in LA, it can just get so mundane sometimes. Like, yes, it's LA. Everyone's like, oh, I want to go here, there, and everywhere. But when you live somewhere, it's just like, it's just LA. That's it. Like, it's the same old every single day. So it is nice to just get away, to go somewhere tropical, to go somewhere, anywhere, honestly, that I do not live, because it's
Do you
just
have a bucket
different.
list? Do you have a bucket list?
I do. So I really wanted for my 30th. So I'm 30.
Okay.
I know I don't forget, but I'm 30. But really, really wanted to go to Africa super bad, but that just didn't end up happening. But I did go to Turks and Caicos. I love going where Black people are. I ain't even gonna sit here in front. I love Black people. I love the culture. I love everything. The food, the everything. I just want to be around Black people. So I love traveling to Black places. But I also, whenever I go somewhere, I ask people there, like, where should I go? Because a lot of people travel. And so I do have a kind of a bucket list of places I want to go. When I went to Thailand, a lot of people told me to go to Vietnam. I was just like, okay, that's cool. When I went to Shanghai, a lot of people said go to Japan. I was like, got it. We'll do that. When I went to Turks, it's a Caribbean island. So they were just like, all the Caribbean islands are very different. So it's just like, go to each one and see what it's like. I love to travel though. That is just, I just really think that there is something in a little Black girl from an urban city just going around the world, getting her feet wet, and just like really finding out what's out there. It's not just your neighborhood. It's not just your city. It's not just your state. There is a plethora out there to do, to see, to want, to be around. And I'm here for all of it. It's all of it, all the time.
Yeah. I tell them Detroiters, the world don't stop at 8 Mile. That's not the edge of the world. You can go past 8 Mile. There are other things out there.
It is. And I just feel like it expands your mind, because even living out here, so just living in LA, I've had a lot of jobs, as many LAers do. And I've been a substitute teacher, and being a sub, people kids are bad. I'm just gonna sit there and put that out there. People kids bad. But also, you would think, hey, you live in LA, like you go to the beach all the time, or you're here, there, and everywhere. And I have kids from Watts who have been like, yeah, I've never been to the beach before. And it will transform the way you think when you just hear certain things like that. Or you may go to Detroit and they're like, oh, I've never, been past 8 Mile or whatnot. I've never been outside the city. And so just having that opportunity to even go it's different for me. Like, I love it. I'm thankful for it. I'm grateful for it. And to go out and that makes me want to like really expand in my mind and expand the things that I'm doing. So it's a big thing all the way around.
I so agree with that. So, and even looking back on that, I appreciate my parents, my grandparents, my family. I appreciate Go Lightly. So Arielle and I went to the same middle school. They got us outside of the city. We went to like the Grand Hotel, and like just like things like that. They took us to like DC and places like that, and like it really expanded things that I was reading beyond the book, or what I'm saying, or beyond what was on TV. So I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, that's always being homeschooled. One of the pros of that was every time we got in the car, it was a field trip. You know what I'm saying? We went to the grocery store, we learned something, whatever. But then even when we went on vacations, my dad got that, just packed us off as that big old conversion van. And he's like, yo, we going to Florida. We going to Disney World. You know what I'm saying? But on the way down, we stop in Atlanta and go to the Coca-Cola factory. We stop at, the welcome centers and just look at different maps and different things that they had at certain states and welcome centers or whatever. So it was, yeah, I definitely encourage people to travel, get out, go places. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially if you're trying to get into entertainment. You know what I'm saying? It's like I said, over the weekend I was doing comedy in Indiana, and it's like a whole different level of how I want to put it. Like it's a totally different kind of audience. Like, well, it's widely known that Detroit is one of the hardest audiences to perform in front of in the first place. Because we don't play no games. We don't front for nobody. If we don't like you, we don't like you. If we do, we gonna rock with you heavy. So it's like just having to like actually work to tell, jokes here in Detroit versus going, out of state, and then they're here for the jokes. Like, all right, well, we're at a comedy show. It has to be funny. you know. And so, yeah, it's like even in the art, and then just as our guest last week was saying, like if you live in Detroit, and you're really trying to make a career out of acting, you need to leave Detroit because it's just the whole setting is different. You know what I'm saying? Like the industry that is actually making the money versus the industry that is here are two different industries. Is basically what she was saying.
Yeah, that I would agree as well. So I've done acting in LA. I actually did travel to Indiana, funny enough, to film something. But every single place is different, and every single place has a different vibe. Like New York's acting versus LA acting is way different, which is different than Atlanta acting and Florida. Like every place has a different vibe, and you just have to really catch it, and you have to really understand it. Like there's some people that are in LA right now that aren't thriving that could go to Atlanta and just be like a series regular. They could be on somebody's show like easy, but it's a different world, and it's a different, and also it has to do with looks as well. It's a different look. My look is not going to translate everywhere versus New York is kind of a harsher, a more like rough around the edges, you know, like it's certain things that work in certain industries, and you just got to really figure it out for yourself. So sometimes where you are is not where you are supposed to be at that point. You might need to go somewhere else, get your credits up, get your time up, get everything up, just work in that other place until, okay, now you got enough to go over here and now you can rock over here. And it's just really different. I know some people that have done that who were staying here. They were doing okay, but they weren't doing what they thought that they definitely could do, move somewhere else. And they're like jumping, like they're leaping over different things. And it's just like the industries are different. Atlanta is obviously more Black Hollywood. It's more Black, you know, film and shows being done down there. You have Tyler Perry's whole studio down there. So it's a bit easier to get your foot in the door versus being in LA, and you still have to go against your, you know, other people of other ethnicities. Then you have, you know, your other white and everyone. You're just going against everyone, and it doesn't really matter. Every industry has something different, and it has something different to offer. So going out to different places actually would benefit most people.
So diversifying the pool you have access to, people who are seeing you, the network kind of across the board. Is that easier now in the virtual world, would you say, or is it just as challenging?
I will say in the virtual world, it's a bit easier. Actually, one of my agents, I'm represented in Chicago, Atlanta, and LA. So when they send me out for stuff, they send me for all of those different places. And I feel like that's pretty cool. I've done self-tapes for Atlanta a bunch of times, not the show Atlanta, but for my Atlanta agents. And I think that that's really cool. Like this virtual world really can do a lot of things. I actually last year I booked a McDonald's commercial, and I was actually in Mexico when I got my call back. So I had to like do a self-tape in Mexico, send it back, and then, you know, I booked it. Thank Jesus. And I was back for it. But
gotta make it happen.
You got to make it happen. And that's one of the biggest things that I would say. You don't have to be in the room in order to book anything. You will come across a tape, you know, just as fine as if you were in a room or whatnot. And you can book projects all across the world. If people want you, they're going to send for you. I have a friend right now who is in New York. They sent for him. He is, I think, a series regular or maybe like a reoccurring, but yeah, it's the world is your oyster now. No one can sit here and say, oh, they only want LA actors, or oh, they want Atlanta actors, because a lot of times these different shows, they want different people. Like they want their shows that they're filming about Michigan or about Detroit. They want authentic Detroit people in it. They want people that know the lingo, that know how to like speak like this. And they want people, you just want different things. Yeah. So this virtual world is opening up anything for anyone. You don't have, you can live in Nebraska and be found. You can live in Montana and, you know, book something. You don't have to be in one of these big cities in order to pop off. That is one thing that people have to know. Like the virtual world is open for everybody.
Yeah. And so along the lines of some of the things you just said, we had a viewer that had a few questions about what you said. One of them was, where do you think an actor just starting out should move to?
Oh, goodness. Okay. Well, it just all depends on where you are stationed at your hometown. So let's say you're in Chicago, or if you're in Detroit, I would say stay there, work on some local things first. So my biggest thing is having something behind your name, having some credits, having some things that people can like recognize, like, oh, okay, you did this or you did that. There's filming everywhere. So I would say look up wherever you are, look and see what's filming near you. And near you is like within like maybe 2 to 3 hours, because that Detroit, they might be filming something in Chicago PD, Chicago Med, all those type of things. That's a 4-hour drive, but you can make that. Atlanta, again, is a very, very hot city for Black people. I'm just going to be real. It's just a hot city for Black people. If you go down there, you might just be walking down the street and somebody's like, you just look like we need you, or something like that. Like that type of stuff happens. It sounds very, corny. It sounds very cliche.
Happens
but
to me all the time. I get it.
So, I mean, I wouldn't say you just have to live in any certain place. If you want to move, though, move by all means. Like, do what's on your heart, but you don't have to live in New York or Atlanta or LA. Like, those are some of the hardest markets. Like, they're the hardest markets. Now, they're very rewarding markets, but they're also very hard. Like, it's hard. So, yeah, you don't have to live there specifically.
So she has Kimmy Jean. Shout out Kimmy Jean. She also had another question, which is a very interesting question, because I'm sure a lot of other people have this question too. How do you have agents in many states? Are these sister agencies to your main agency?
Okay, good question. So my agency, they started in Chicago and then they branched out to different states. So they're the same agency, but they just have different markets under them. So basically, once again, these are some big markets. They want to get the money where they can. So they have an agency, their home agency in Chicago, and then they have the same agency, so not a sister agency, the same agency in Atlanta, and then they have the same agency in LA. And so they have agents in all those different places. So you can be represented in one place you can be represented in different places by one agency. It just depends. So you just have to look into it. And I knew that about them, and I wanted to be, able to have something in different places, not just LA. So that was the opportunity that came to me. But however, you can have agents in different places. Mm-hmm. So if you have an LA agent, if you wanted to go out for things in like the Northeast or the South, you can get an agent down there. They just have to know that you aren't local and whatnot, but that you are willing to be a local hire sometimes. And if you find it, rock with it. Or you can get a recommendation from your agent to another region or whatnot. So it's possible. It can be hard. So if you don't have that money to get there, because sometimes, in the world before pandemic, you would have to like really go to an audition. It would be like, oh, we need you to fly down here and do this audition. Oh, we need you to fly here and do this callback. Now we have a lot of self-tape. So it might be, hey, we need a self-tape for this audition. Okay, we want to do a callback. We need a self-tape for this callback. Now they may fly you down to do like a chemistry read, or they might fly you down for something like that. But yeah.
No, talk that talk. So for everyone who's joining us late, we got Arielle Simonee here, LA actor. She's killing the game. Arielle, tell people what you've been featured on right now. What you killing the game at right now?
Talk your talk, Ari.
Well, currently I am a contestant on a show called Naked and Afraid of Love. It comes on Discovery Plus. It is about 16 individuals who are looking for love on an island, and they are naked. So get into it. And that was really fun. So I'm on that. I have a McDonald's commercial that's out. So if you have that chicken sandwich commercial, and yeah, I'm in that. At the end of this month, I have a short film dropping. It is pretty cool. It's called Here Comes the Bride. So, of course, the end of the month we have Halloween. So it's kind of in that same spooky vein of a thriller horror type of film. I am auditioning for different things all the time. But yeah, I also have a YouTube channel. That's just me on my own. But I do like hair tutorials. I do like how to get ready with me, different things about myself and the crazy things that I do and like and whatnot. But yeah, so my current project though is Naked and Afraid of Love. That's on your team.
I can tell there's like two different sides of the island by the way you said naked and afraid. There's like the naked and afraid, then there's the naked and afraid. We all know who's on the naked side. The naked side. How many people on the naked side? I don't watch the show. How many? And you know what I mean by that.
Okay. No, it's our show has 16 people on it. I mean, like everybody's literally naked. Like it's not a it's everybody. Everybody was rocking out
the whole time. So that wasn't they didn't make that happen in post. That was like the whole time y'all was.
I met my person and I was like, oh, we're happy. And here we go. It was very eye-opening. It was very
Is it anything like the people say when people get stage fright, you're supposed to imagine people naked? Did that make it easier to be yourself and be open within that time period? Or
you have to imagine them with clothes on? Is that how that flipped?
That was really kind of thing. It was like at a certain point we would all ask each other like, so what's your personal style like? Like what would you wear on a regular day? And that was kind of fun just to be like, okay, so I could see that. I could see the hat, the baseball cap to the back. I could see the ripped jeans. Okay, I could see it was because literally we had nothing on. So it was kind of cool just to imagine what you see how people act and then see, or you can just imagine like, okay, this is how you would be in the real world or whatnot. So it was definitely different. It was for me. So I was the island princess or whatnot. And the whole thing of the show is if you've ever watched Naked and Afraid, like the regular one, they are naked, they're outside and they're feeding for their lives. They have to find their own food, make their own shelter. Like it's real.
Nah.
Real for somebody from Detroit. We don't do that. But yeah, I'm just like I'm used to heat. I'm used to luxuries, a couple of them, So it was definitely different, but it was also it made you think. It made you realize certain things that you do and don't need, but also how you create your world. Like we didn't have phones, we didn't have computers, we didn't have running water, we didn't have all the outside things that make us who we are. My earrings, my necklace, just like all my style, it was taken out. So it was just basically your personality, and you just see how great people are or how not great people are. You just get to really see that, and you get to really create community just by like who you rock with, who you don't, who makes you happy, what makes you happy. You really learn those things about yourself. So it was like it was a different experience, but it's one that I wouldn't I don't regret. I wouldn't change it.
Was that something that you wanted to do? Like something you're like, oh, I want to get on that, or is that something that your agent maybe had to kind of nudge you like, hey, you should? I think it's a good opportunity. Listen, all you got to do is get naked, okay?
Naked.
You do it in the shower every day. Come on.
That part. Actually, this was an opportunity that came to me. I actually don't remember how. It's some casting agent came to me, but it didn't get it through my agent. It came straight through me. So it was one of those things where I really did have to think about it. Like, okay, what are y'all saying? Like, we're gonna be naked? Like, are you sure? And it was naked. And I was
like Adam and Eve naked. Like, wait, I can't get no little fig leaves to put over. Just
something like little boo boo.
I can make a coconut bra.
Something, but on that same vein, like everyone came to the show with something. So on the regular show and on our show, you come with a personal item and then a survival item. So because I am who I am, and I just know myself. I was like, I ain't gonna be out here naked for how X amount of days. That don't sound right. So my survival item was hiding string. So I knew that I wanted to make like some type of clothing, something to, cover the biddies, cover the thing. So I did that. So I brought hiding string. Certain people brought certain things. Someone brought a fishing pole so that we could go fishing. Someone brought a mosquito net. Everyone brought different things. And then we also had personal items. So because it's a dating show, it's your personal item is supposed to make people attracted to you, I guess, or want to date you. So one of my biggest things that I love to do in real life and I guess on the island is I love to cook. I love to eat. So my personal item was a grilling basket. So it was just like, if y'all want to eat some fish that somebody else caught, like get that to me and I can grill it for us and we gonna eat good. So that was just that's like my two
I love
things.
that.
Yeah, you just gotta really think smart. It's like think smart, not hard. Like I was just like, okay, we're on a naked show. Boom, clothes. Okay, we're on a show where you have to fiend for your own. Boom, something to eat. Like make something to eat. So it all made sense to me. I was just like, y'all can do what y'all want to do. But
did anybody for a personal item bring soap or deodorant?
No, but somebody did bring cologne. It was a guy that brought cologne, and that was a
musty and cologne.
It was you put a little water under there, like get a little must off.
Yeah, that's that's about to be a spinoff show. Musty and alone. That's about to be.
That could be because but it was different. It was definitely it was different. It was different.
One last question about the nakedness. I see you work out a lot. You're pretty fit, as Jason is. How did you stay in shape during that time? Was it all out there while you was doing your V-ups and your squats and stuff like that?
You're
and
jumping
was everyone doing that?
It was okay. So a lot of the things that we did on the island is not seen on the show, unfortunately, just because they were filming us literally 24/7. So even the mundane things that we were doing, they were filming. But we had a lot of fun because we ended up making our own like gym sort of kind of. One episode you see one of my castmates, he makes like a barbell out of a bamboo and then some coconuts on the end, and that was kind of cool. So we would like bench that or anything. We were doing some workouts on the beach. We would do water aerobics. We just like have fun with it. It was like we don't have the things that we would have at home, so how can we make this fun and how we want to do this? Because even at home I'm like, I don't know if I want to go to the gym today, and so I have to like push myself. So we just had to push ourselves. Yeah, but it was all out there, folks. It was just like, okay, your head to my head, not the other way, like, yeah. So it was,
That's crazy. And nobody brought toilet paper as a personal item.
Nobody brought toilet paper, but somebody brought a shovel, and that shovel did something. That shovel did something. So yeah,
we appreciate them.
So this is a real that was gonna be one of my questions. Like, how much of it was manufactured and done in post, and how much of that was just like real? But you said the cameras on 24/7, and they had y'all naked the entire time.
Did you find love though, or are you still in the process of finding love right now?
So this is a spoiler just for anyone out there. I just want to, spoiler alert. So the last episode was episode 9. So it comes out every Sunday and it's on Discovery Plus. I'm trying to give people the chance. Like, if you don't want to hear it, don't hear it. But spoiler alert, episode 9 was my departure from the show. And I did not necessarily find love, but I found a group of people that I am going to be connected to for life. I have found some great friends. I found out some things about myself, and I think I found self-love, honestly, truly. I'm still in the process of, meeting people in real life and just figuring that out. But I know a lot of what I do want and what I don't want, the things that are like my non-negotiables, like I was able to like really see like, okay, this is this is something that I've put up with enough and I don't want to put up with it anymore versus, okay, this is something I can compromise with or, anything like that. So no, didn't find love, but your girl's single or single, so.
Hey.
Do they vote people off the show, or is it like a?
No, it's a dating show. So it's just like, if you don't have anyone to date, why are you here? That's kind of the the whole thing.
So nobody met your standards, and so they was like, well, if nobody on this island is good enough, then you go to a different island and go put some clothes on.
Right, put some clothes on.
Find somebody. Put on some clothes. Now, what would you say would be the biggest lesson, since it was like legit, all naked and everything was real? I'm glad it's a reality show that was actually real. What would you say is the biggest thing you learned from that experience?
I think the biggest thing that I learned was, good question. I wanna give you a good, thoughtful answer.
Yeah. Here's the Jason Jamerson podcast. We don't play around with these questions. We're gonna get you. We're gonna get you together.
I think one of my biggest lessons and takeaways is that I deserve the best and I deserve what I give out. So I'm a very authentic, a very genuine person, and I'm going to give it to you 100% real, whether it's going to hurt your feelings or not. Like, I'm not trying to hurt feelings, but I'm just a Detroiter. I'm gonna tell you how it is. That is what it is. And I feel like I deserve that as well. A lot of people look at me like, oh, she's so cute, or oh, we don't want to hurt her feelings, or she's just soft and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, no, like, I'm a grown up, I'm a big girl, I can handle it, I can take it. There's things that happen in life, and you just gotta keep rolling. So that was one of my biggest takeaways. Is just I deserve the best. I deserve what I give out. My energy is authentic, my vibes are authentic, I am authentic. I can be rough around the edges. Sometimes I can be a bit, dramatic, just a little bit. But I just deserve everything and more that I give off. And if I'm not going to get that, then it's no point. It's no point. So it's a lot of me taking in who I am and being secure in that, and knowing that there's someone out there for me. It may not have been on that island per se, but there's someone that is going to take all of me and be happy with all of me. They're going to accept me, flaws and all, and everyone deserves that. So, yeah.
Amen. And he gonna have some clothes on.
Okay. My nice little comfy clothes. I love clothes.
Some pants, you know what I'm saying?
I wanted to ask you all. So I've seen a few things kind of like roll around media, kind of topics and stuff like that. The first is about taking the Ancestry DNA Test. So there's like 23andMe, African Ancestry, and I'm sure there's some other ones out there that kind of like tell you like, hey, this is where your family's from or what your bloodline is from. I think for many people, I'm particularly of slave descent, and so there's a lot of mix as far within my blood. My family doesn't really have a close draw or tie to those type of things. Are those things that you all will be interested in doing to better understand a little bit of where you're from? Arielle, I know you said you want to go to Africa. I would love to go too, and I would love to go to a place where it says, "Hey, you 55% X." You know what I'm saying? Like, why not make that a thing? But just wanted to kind of test the waters with other people's opinions.
So yeah, I actually did do an Ancestry DNA. I am super big on like family and everything. So I did that maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and it gave me like my breakdowns. But that one, it changes like randomly. Like, so I'll get an email like, oh, your Ancestry DNA has changed. And it's just the percentages. So it's not just saying like, oh, you're white. I'm like, no, okay, wait, what do you mean? No, it's just like it changes. It might be like 47% to 49% or something like that. Some type of things like that. My dad, however, last year he did his, and he did the African one, and he sent it to me, and I was like, we from where?
They do tribes and stuff too, right? For the African one, yeah.
They give you preciseness.
They get down to the nitty gritty.
So I want to do that one. But I'm super into like all of that. I'm super into like, where did we come from? How did we get here? Where can we go back to? So yeah, that was the biggest thing about going to Africa. I want to go back to where my tribe would have been, and and meet somebody who could potentially be a cousin.
Okay.
Yeah. My sister actually did the 20. I think she did 23andMe, and my sister and my dad both did 23andMe, and it was a lot of stuff that I basically kind of figured because like last name Jamerson, I figured there was some kind of Irish descent there. I knew I was from slave descent because my back is strong, but I yeah, no, we did that, and I ended up at some point had like 0.000 like 1% Samoan. So I'm the Rock's cousin. I found out somewhere down the line, but no, it was. I want to do the African one. I do want to do the African one, like Kev, like you guys brought up. I do want to do the African one. I just found out about that watching the. Actually a random ad popped up on Instagram with Chadwick Boseman was on the recipe. Chadwick Boseman was talking about he was on the Breakfast Club talking about how he did it, and yeah, I definitely want to do that one. That seems. I don't necessarily want to travel to different places to figure that out necessarily. I do want to know because I got stuff I got to do. I don't necessarily got time to be traveling all over the place, but yeah, I do want to know. I do want to know. And Kimmy, the African one is called AfricanAncestry.com.
Yeah. So
AfricanAncestry.com.
Chadwick Boseman's done it. I've seen Oprah's done it. I think Denzel. They have a lot of series. PBS had like a big thing kind of with them throughout the time. I would say the price point.
That's the one they did.
Pardon me.
That's the one they did. I saw the series. I didn't know that was a specific because Nas had did it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I saw that episode with Nas.
Yeah, and I think so. The price point is a little more expensive than the other ones, but I think it's so much more well worth it. It's specifically for people like us who have no knowledge and being able to kind of have those close ties. And they use a database that's like based on like Africans, versus like a United States, a Europe one that's more segmented there, so they can give you those broad things about people in certain places in the Viking lands and things like that. I think it's just more particular to us and kind of our sample size, and so it definitely sounds doper. I think the only hesitation I have is giving my DNA to like some system. I don't know what they're gonna do with it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they do cloning or things like that. And like I don't want to speak from ignorance, but I do want to protect like my DNA and like all my type of things in that way. And so having trust, but I definitely see the value of it. So it's something I'm strongly considering as well.
You're going to be messing around and be like Gemini Man 21 years from now. I'll wake up and see it. Go on vacation, see a younger version of you. Going to court, have a case, it's going to be a younger version of you on the opposition side.
Whoa.
And then the last thing I was going to bring up, number one, shout out to the Chicago Sky for the WNBA championship. Candace Parker and that team did their thing. But I also saw when I was seeing some of those things, people were pressing Kevin Hart's ex-wife about maintaining her last name Hart. And so was just curious to see y'all thoughts. I have a lot of thoughts on it where, a lot of women particularly take the last name based on like a system of patriarchy that kind of been established. And so, but she felt really empowered to keep that name. Number one, because she earned it. It's hers. You know what I'm saying? She made those things. She has kids that has those names. And also, she also said no one's come around to make her consider changing it or reverting it back to her other name. And I respect that as Arielle's trying to find love, and maybe that's the way you go about it. Or maybe she gives her name away, right? And so we're just curious as to thoughts from you all and like what will you see? I know we see something different in society, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's how the rules should play.
Jason, you want to take it away first, or?
No, you can go ahead, ladies first.
Well, I just feel like a lot of times nowadays we are so far in people's business that we don't need to be in. That business don't pay us. We don't need to be in it. But since we're on the topic, I feel as though this woman has had so many jokes hit off on her, the memories of her marriage, just like she deserves her name. Why can't she have that name? Like you said, she has children who have this name. She was a part of this lifestyle with this name. She has created herself off of this name? What she needs to rebrand herself as someone else? Like, that is her branding. That is who she is. Not to say that has anything to do with Kevin. Like, no, like, this is me as a person. Now you want me to feel like I should be stripped away of something that I had for X amount of years, that I, like, I don't know. I just feel like that's just one thing that just shouldn't be talked about amongst other people that are not in that situation. Like, that doesn't have anything to do with us. And her name is her name. Like, that is who you are. That's who you identify as. That, like, just changing it all willy-nilly is not just something that just comes about freely. That is a lot of things that comes with that, internally, mentally, emotionally, physically. Like, there's a lot of things that go into it. So it's not just, oh, change your name, you're not married to him no more. It doesn't have anything to do with that now. Like, I already made that sacrifice of changing my name to this, and now I've made myself who I am off of this, and now you want me to, just throw that away. Like, we're throwing away X amount of years of who I am. Like, no, I'm not doing that. So we're gonna all live together in this happy, harmonious life with this last name.
So that if that was you, would you switch your last name back?
Answer the question. Holla. What? So my mom has a hyphenated last name. So she has her maiden name and my dad's last name. And I like that. Like, she's never lost sense of, not to say you lose sense of who you are, but she's never lost sense of who she was. She loves my dad. And so that was just like obviously a given, but also she was already established in her career as her name. So she kept that because she was already an established person in her career. She was already using that. People already knew her as that. So I feel like it just all depends on where I am in my career. If I'm already established as who I am, then possibly I may hyphenate my name or whatnot. If I'm not, or if it just is too long, or if it just doesn't, I don't know, if it doesn't flow or something, like, I may, drop mine. But I just think it comes with where you are in life and how established you are and what goes on through your name. That's a lot to do with branding. It's a lot to do with, like as far as us, we are, comedian, actor, like, your brand is your name. So if I mean, obviously you have people that P. Diddy, Sean Combs, and, all these different names, but you also always know them as that one thing. And I don't want to have confusion. I don't want to be like, oh, well, you're this person and now this person. Like, you can have your, you can have your branding and you have your name, but I don't know. I feel like I'm going to obviously have my husband's name, but I don't know if it's going to be hyphenated or just his name. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you give me that ring back. Give me my name back. Oh, I want it all back. I want it all back. So, no, like you said, it is a lot of like, a lot of stuff gets tied up into, like, depending on how long you've been together. There's a whole lot of stuff that can get tied up, like, legal stuff or whatever, get tied up with the last name. And that could be a lot of work. Now, if it ends horribly, that's a different story. If it ends bad, then I don't see why you would want it in the first place. I don't know why you would want to have anything that will remind you of me or I of you. But if it was like a mutual decision, like, yeah, and like you said, unless somebody came along, or like she said, if nobody came along to make her want to change it, then why not? So yeah. But also, like you said, everybody needs to mind their own business, because people be worried about stuff that ain't got nothing to do with them.
Right.
And like, I be on social media sometimes, like, this is the news right now. Like, this is the news. Like, mind your business. But yeah. Well, Kev, did you have any more questions?
No, I don't have any more questions, but I do have a comment. So Arielle, really appreciate your presence and your expertise and just dropping the gems and the knowledge to us, and just kind of having a good conversation as an expert, but also like sharing that cross industry stuff, answering a lot of things for our guests. I want to say to you, shout out to you and your family. Like I said earlier, we went to middle school together. And so one of the things I remember about middle school is your parents. They always showed up, particularly your dad. Showed us so much love as like little kids. I was a knucklehead, kind of annoying and doing those things, and he showed up with grace. had a strong presence kind of within there. It was always there. You didn't see a lot of parents kind of like come pick up, or especially males, pick up their kids on a day-to-day basis. And so I appreciated him and like what he represented just from as a young man and growing there. And you talked about your parents a lot here, but you talk about them all the time. So I know y'all had a loss recently, and so I just want to show love and compassion to y'all, and just want to say appreciation for that, because seeing those positive figures through life is really reinforcing.
Thank you so much, and thank you guys for having me. This has been fun and a blast, and I just hope I looked okay with this lighting or whatnot.
Of course you did.
Hope I didn't say nothing that's gonna get me on the shade room.
So as we leave, I usually ask, what do you have coming up next? And Kimmy Jean actually had a question that goes along with it.
Mm-hmm.
Other than your upcoming work, do you have past work that I can view? And in answering that, can you also give us your social media, where everybody can find you, and any, like she said, things that you have that she can view right now?
Yes. So my social media, my Instagram is my name. It's Arielle and then a period, Simonee. So if you see it down there, ARIELLE period SIMONEE. Also, I have a YouTube channel. I am Arielle Simonee, so you can see some things on there. Just see whatever I'm doing. Some things that my past work. So I did some stuff with Rare Beauty. So that's a Selena Gomez's makeup company. So I've done some things for them. I did the McDonald's commercial. That's kind of on TV. That's also on my social media. I was in Dolomite Is My Name, which was starring Eddie Murphy. That was on Netflix. I'm pretty sure it's still on Netflix. I have a plethora of different like music videos. I was in a Russ video. I was in a Nav Gunna, and Kylie's person, baby daddy.
Tiger?
No, Kylie. That's the baby one.
I don't know.
I don't keep up with the Kardashians myself.
Oh gosh. Okay.
That's something I do.
It's Nav and Gunna. Amine, I did a video with him. I did a video for like a lot of different artists. So have that. Those are like on YouTube. They're also on my page on Instagram as well. My Twitter, I'm back on Twitter now. So it's Arielle_Simonee. I have like 49 followers, so follow me. But yeah, I'm trying to think about any of my other past work. Yeah, it's some stuff that's just kind of out there. Some stuff that I didn't even know was out. Like sometimes I'll go to the gym and like a music video come on. I'm like, oh, I'm in this video or something. Like it's just kind of like, oh, Inception or something. Yeah. And then again, at the end of the month, I have a short film, Here Comes the Bride, that's coming out. It'll be on social media. I also think it'll be on YouTube as well. And it also will probably be shopped around to different film festivals. So, fingers crossed on that. But yeah, that's, I think that answers the question.
Yeah. Well, all right. We appreciate you for coming on once again. Ken, what do you got going on coming up?
Yo, man, I don't have much going on. All I would do is press upon people. Start your Christmas shopping now, because it's supply chain constraints all over. Like, if you start too late, Christmas won't happen until 2022. So get your stuff going on. Otherwise, y'all can follow me on Instagram at Hercules Jackson and on Twitter at _KevB_.
All right. And myself, I have a birthday coming up next week. So next week will, I guess, technically be my birthday show. I have no idea what we're going to do at my birthday show. We have nobody booked as a guest. So tune in to see what kind of hijinks we get into. I am doing a comedy show. The plan was to do a comedy show every day that week. I ended up just getting Sunday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So Sunday, you can catch me this coming Sunday, October 24th. You can catch me at the Detroit Shipping Company for the 313 Comedy Show. I'm headlining it along with my comedy brother, Kevin Johnson, and my comedy sister, Melanie Hearn. I can't remember what the show is on Wednesday because I ain't put the flyer out yet. And then Thursday, I'm at Soul of Detroit in Sterling Heights. I know it says Soul of Detroit, but it is in Sterling Heights. I don't know who else is on that show. I just know I'm headlining that one also. So other than that, y'all know where to find me on Facebook or YouTube. If you are watching this, it is right here, the Jason Experience. And if you're on Instagram, it's right here, just all those words smushed together. Yeah, so thank you all for watching. Thank you, everybody who had a question, chimed in, had a comment. Thank you, Arielle, once again. Thank you, Kev. I appreciate you as always. And until next week, when we figure out what I'm going to do for my birthday, I'll see y'all later. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.